310-981-6377 or email them at feedingourfriends05@gmail.com. feedingourfriends05@gmail.com. It's the 15th anniversary of Feeding Our Friends on the Outside, Sunday, November 10th from noon until 11129 South Central Avenue in Los Angeles. For more information, call 310-981-6377. 310-981-6377. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff?
The child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How was that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I just like to kiss. Is there something wrong with that?
Damn.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed.
Hit you with the bad pipes routine.
How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my neck.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man rules on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
Zoe Williams,
Reason and accountability.
the voice of reason.
The neuroscience of fear conditioning helps explain how our brains learn to fear particular things and experiences. It mainly involves dynamic interactions among the hippocampus, medial frontal lobes, and the amygdala. Understanding how this works in the brain is leading to novel therapeutic approaches for anxiety disorders. We'll get to all of that, but first we need to understand what we mean by fear conditioning. And by the way, I'm Andrew, and this is Sense of Mind. If you want more neuroscience and psychology content, make sure to like, subscribe, and join the newsletter. The link for that is in the captions. Okay, let's now get to fear conditioning and extinction. Fear conditioning refers to an experiment where an animal, often a mouse, is taught to fear a neutral stimulus and context by pairing those with a naturally aversive stimulus. Experimenters place a mouse in a cage, then play a brief auditory tone. As the tone plays, they deliver a mild electric shock to the floor of the cage, which scares the mouse and causes mild pain. Importantly, the cage has distinct visual cues, like stripes on the wall, and a distinct scent, like peppermint. So later on, if you place that mouse in a cage that looks and smells differently, and you play the tone, the mouse freezes in place, indicating a fear response. Similarly, if you place the mouse in the original cage, and even if you don't play the tone, the mouse will walk around, but it will freeze more often than if it had never undergone fear conditioning. In psychological jargon, the shock is called the unconditioned stimulus because the animal's response to it requires no conditioning, that is, learning. On the other hand, the tone is the conditioned stimulus because the animal's fear response to it must be learned. The cage where the conditioning occurred, with its distinct look and smell, is called the context. A quick note. Freezing in place indicates fear because mice are a prey species hunted by visually acute predators like birds, which scan the ground for movement. Thus, freezing is a way of hiding from predators. Mice also flee from predators, but probably only after they've been spotted. Before that, they stay still to avoid being detected. Therefore, in fear conditioning, when the mouse is shocked, it typically sprints around the cage. If the shock is like a small bite from a predator, it makes sense that the mouse flees. Conversely, if the mouse knows that the tone predicts the shock, it makes sense to freeze when it hears the tone because it knows that danger is approaching and that it's near.
We've all been conditioned. It's not just mice and monkeys. We've all had some fear conditioning. And do you see, many of us are so self-unaware, we don't realize that it manifests in our speech. It manifests in our requests. It manifests in how we present ourselves to others. Right? Fear has more power in your relationships than you do. Look up something called the Skinner box. I don't want to dig deep into my psychology bag tonight, but I can. Go to the Skinner box and see how they trained the mice there. They conditioned the mice there. You know what's interesting? There was there was a what's that? The Big Bang. The Big Bang is a great television show. I watch it all the time. It talks about physics and all of this stuff, and it's comedy. But in one scene, they were using Pavlovian conditioning methods because there was a woman there and she was talking so much. So he was using positive reinforcement. Oh, would you like some chocolates? And every time she said yes, she stopped talking because she grabbed the chocolate. And then the one guy, the roommate, figured out what the guy was doing, and he goes, "Hey, man, stop conditioning my friend." It's written in the scene. Again, we're a fear-based culture. Our relationships are fear-based. And if there is fear, there can't be freedom. You will make that which is toxic safe. That's home plate for you. That's normal for you. Let's get my brother back in here, man. Let's get him back in here. Come on, Ronan, because you was just starting to take off, man. Let me get you back on the runway. What are your final thoughts on this?
Okay, when it comes to that post-traumatic relationship success syndrome, think about how quickly we're abandoned when we become the very thing that people covet, but they're not willing to work for.
Hey, Andy, we got to clip that because we're going to do this topic on Monday. Give us the definition one more time, Ronan.
See, the thing about post-traumatic relationship success disorder is like, here's an example. Think about how quickly we're abandoned when we become the very thing that everybody covets, but they're not willing to work for.
My God. Yeah, we doing this Monday. Sorry. It's on and cracking. This is, hey, man, the voice of reason is on complete fire. Hey, brother, guess what you just did?
Just set Indianapolis on fire.
You already know what it is, Naptown. Let me shout out my nephew up in Naptown, Adonis Mitchell, playing for the Indianapolis Colts. Rookie. I named the young brother. I gave him his name, Adonai Mitchell. That's his name. Very proud of that kid. Happy for him, man. He's a great guy, man. And I love his dad, Norman. So, yes, thank you, Ronan. Hey, we got callers on the line. Let's get these folks. On here. Y'all want to talk? Let's talk about it. Hustle. Miami, Florida in the building.
What's up, brother? How you feeling?
Man, I'm alive and well, man. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
So, I had a nice ride on my motorcycle earlier tonight, and a nice shorty pulled up on me at the light. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Waving a smile. She was in a red Mustang.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's just an alignment because my bike is red.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me tie all this together. To have fun on a motorcycle, you have to accept vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
You see, because if you riding and you're thinking about all the bad things that can happen, one, it's going to take away from you paying attention and actually put you in further danger of it happening. Attachment styles.
Mm-hmm.
If you catch it where I'm going, that's exactly how that works. And you also won't enjoy the ride.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
So my question was, seeing how women today seem to make a less safe space to be vulnerable. See, my own training, my own skill set is what made me feel safe on my bike. Whereas when you're in a relationship, that's the woman's your bike, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if your woman don't give you a safe space, where do you draw that from? Now, I know you're going to say internally, but I want to know what part does the woman play in being able to have that safe space for vulnerability, brother?
I think it's culture-wide. I don't think it just falls on a gender. I think when we're talking about conditioning, I think that conditioning is culture-wide. you're starting to
I don't
hear.
want to do that though. Hold on, I gotta slow you down. I don't want to do that though, because I brought up the women for a specific reason.
I know.
Because
That's
we all
why
have different purposes.
I know. That's why I'm giving you my answer. Now, you want me to give you the answer you're looking for? Or you want me to give you the answer that I'm gonna give you?
Hey, you served me last night. I was off topic. I want to just make sure you stay on topic.
I'm on topic. I'm on topic. But like when you say women, right? What should the women do? Well, first off, it's a thing of there's a program running, and what is that program? Typically, men don't feel, right? Men don't really feel, and we don't even take a second thought to say, hey, let's create a safe space for men to express honestly, truthfully, without filter. Like, men feel bottled up because they feel like if I really say what I want to say, I'm going to tear this whole thing down. So in a lot of ways, men are living in an inauthentic space. It's almost like perpetual spiritual eggshells. You see what I'm saying? That's really what it is.
Rubbed off on you. Go ahead.
No. I'd have rubbed off on Roman, and then I've been doing this for 30 years now. Don't do that. No, but that's that's what it is. So I don't want it, because the way you frame it, it sounds like, what should I make the woman do? It's a culture-wide thing, right? It's not just, okay, that woman, or how do I tell her to do it? It's how do we recondition society for openness, right? For understanding, for empathy. We live in a society that is highly unempathetic. And you think it doesn't affect women? Right?
Of course it does.
That's just
we can't.
Go ahead.
That society's too large, though, brother. We could work within a relationship. That's why I'm asking if you had advice for the women. Because, from a male's perspective, I think women should hear it.
Let me come back. You can't just work with one person, and I'm going to tell you why. Let me tell you why. Because if you go in with the mindset of, I'm going to fix you, you are an enemy. Let me help you shift. You become an enemy. Especially if you have not been invited. See, for many men, and I've seen this, I've seen this for a long time, man. For many men, you might have something good to say, but if you don't get the invite to say it, you're an intruder. Do you understand what I'm saying? I had a sister tell me, you can't be my therapist and my lover.
Oh, 100%.
And then I told her, I'm not a therapist. You see? But
the fact she would even say that says she was getting some energy, or she perceived something a certain way.
No, here's the thing. It's almost like they can't turn it off. It's like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, I need you to, it's almost like this. I need you to turn off. This is how she said it. These are her exact words. She said, okay, turn off the voice of reason, babe. I need babe back. I need babe. No more voice of reason. And I had to tell her, like, please understand, I am the voice of reason. Whether I'm on the radio or off the radio. I might not be yelling off the radio, but I am this. She was like, no more of that. But she called for that. She was like, yo, I need the voice of reason. Can you help me? Because I'm dealing with my sister, and this is going on, and that is going on, and I'm just frustrated. And I walk her through the process. And then she goes, and then when it starts getting deep, I start peeling layers back. It starts getting too deeper. Hey, wait a minute. That's enough of the voice of reason. I need babe back.
Right.
Do you see? So again, if there's no invite for you to come in, even then you might get pushed out because it might get too deep. And then I explained to her, sometimes you got to have conversations that are low risk. Any conversation with me you define as high risk. A, because you're revealing more to me than you really want to. You know I can see more into you than you would like for me to see. So it's high risk. You feel exposed. So you can have this conversation with someone that's low risk. There's no stakes. You don't have no skin in the game with that. So you can sit down and say, well, let me talk to this person.
Oh, man.
Do you see what I'm saying? So I would, like, honestly, I would steer clear of the how can I get them to change or see it from a different perspective. The only way other people see different perspectives is through willingness, openness, right? And willingness and openness are directly connected to fearlessness. The more fear, the more closed. The more, do you see?
Vulnerability.
The more fear, the less willing. Do you see? It makes sense?
Bro, that's what I was trying to get from you, man. I was putting, you know what I'm saying? I heated up the stove because I relate to that 100%, man. For me, it wasn't more about changing the women. It's, you know, because we get them in this place where they feel like they want to share. But just like you just said, when you start getting them to that real space, they feel that exposure. And they're not always ready for that. So that's why I was asking if you had some, you know what I mean, ways to kind of word it, or how you see those moments, which you clarified that.
Let me tell you why this is trepidatious, right? This is a slippery slope, because most men are not connected to their feelings, not connected to their emotions, but they are connected to control. Do you see? So the way you pointed that out, we could all get clumped in one group of men if you trying to help somebody, because the majority of men are like, hey, now listen here now. Listen now, all this here crying or whatnot. What you want me to do, huh? Just listen. Tell the woman at work that you quit tomorrow. Like, you understand? We have this controlling thing, even though we have no control over our emotions. We have no control over our wounds. Yet, by default of our gender, we want to be in the catbird seat of the relationship. This is why I say not all men should. I want to be the leader. I'm the leader of the relationship by default that I'm a man. And I say, well, wait a minute. What wars have you won internally? How is she supposed to follow you, and you don't have a GPS leading to every unhealed wound in your spirit? You don't have a contingency plan for any of your own wounds, but you gonna tell her to follow you? You gonna demand it?
No, not demand. Maybe command.
But he ain't got command. He only has.
I'm trying.
Yeah,
hey, bro, I'm tying it into you. You know I'm on the same page with you, man.
Yeah, man, this is good stuff, brother. Hey, stay with me.
And what you just said sounded like, okay. Guys.
No, stay with me, brother. We not done. When we come forward, more from Miami, Florida. We on fire tonight.
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580. Are you an entrepreneur looking to take your business to new heights? KBLA Talk 1580 is your partner in success. Every day, we celebrate and elevate Black-owned businesses across our community. Our KBLA SMB Marketplace currently features The Cookie Dip, Badass Bakes, Hair Concoction, Higher Education Accreditation Consulting, LACC Radiology Technology Department, and Malik Books. Your business deserves to be heard. Let KBLA Talk 1580 amplify your voice and connect you with our powerful community of listeners. Email smb@kbla1580.com today. That's smb@kbla1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
I occasionally have nerve discomfort in my hands, so the things I love to do...
Let's play something, Grandma.
...became difficult as I got older.
If you have occasional stabbing and burning in your hands and feet, try Nervive Nerve Relief. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use. Say yes to healthy nerves with Nervive Nerve Relief. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
What you gonna do? You ain't a friend of mine. Look what you're putting me through. Now that I'm the blue gangster, what you gonna do? You ain't a friend of mine.
LA Dodgers.
The blue gangster. What you gonna do? 'Cause I'm gonna get you. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. All the things you said and the things you done to me, you can no longer make me cry. Look what you done to me, baby. I can no longer smile, baby. And I've waited so long just to carry on. I'm the blue gangster. I'm the blue gangster. I can never fall in love. Gangsta, what you gonna do? Break the friend of mine. What you gonna do? Now that I'm the gangsta, what you gonna do? Break the friend of mine. I can never fall in love. Gangsta, my 9 to 5, left for you it's a crime. People telling me you got another guy. I've been abused. Watch me like the fuse. Said you be my wife. Nothing but big lies. Don't know what I've done. Everything you got. Things you done to me. Coming back to you. You know just what I've done. The thing you done.
To transform your life, you want to do it in 2 minutes. So is that what your life is worth? So if your life is worthwhile, is it not important that you invest a certain amount of time and energy rather than looking for this stupid stuff of one mantra with which I will transform my life? It will not happen like that. That's the reason why most people have remained the way they have remained, because they've not invested in their well-being.
They're not invested in their well-being, sad guru. Listen, we're invested in medicating ourselves. We medicate ourselves with a feel-good relationship. Feels good in the mouth, but hurts us in the stomach, in the spirit. You understand? Sweet to the taste, but bitter to the spirit. And it's unfortunate. Nobody's coming to save you from you. You are your own Heru and Setiphon. You are your own Saint Michael and Lucifer. You are your own Christ and the devil. You. It's all contained in you. Nobody's coming to save you but you. But it hurts you to look to save you. Why? because you can't kill the darkness you allowed to define who you are. It's almost like killing a baby. It's like self-abortion. I've identified with what I modeled. This is who I am. I love my people. I love my family. I can't break up with that. Hustle, man. Get in here and give us your final piece on this. Hustle, come on in, brother. Give us your final thought on this, brother.
So, I don't know if you recognize it, but the last thing you were saying before the break, it all came full circle, because what you were talking about sounded like PTSD from women's past experiences.
From people's past experiences, not just women, because men suffer from the same stuff.
We weren't talking about men, though. We could talk about men, too. But the thing is, when we
you weren't talking about. I'm talking.
That's it.
Hold on, Hustle. Hold on, Pimp. I'm talking about people. You're focusing this universal message to fit women. I get it. I know where you're coming from.
Well, the reason I was asking the question.
Don't take my universal message and genderize it, brother. You can tenderize it, but don't genderize it. You understand?
No. Well, remember, for sure. And that's why I posed the question in a specific way, which, like I said, you answered it very eloquently. You answered it perfectly, in my opinion, because you gave your male perspective of what you dealt with. And that will help men listening as well as women listening, because they understand how they may come off to the man that they're with. That's why I make sure to identify the different sides of the polarities. There's nothing wrong with polarities. I think today we trying to, whatever. I ain't going to get too far into that part of it.
No. Go ahead.
I'm not afraid.
You got the floor. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm not afraid to polarize. I'm not afraid to stand on certain sides of a fence, because no side is better than the other. And by us actually giving the truthful account and the honest, exposed account of our sides, then we can understand each other better. Right. Instead of trying to, you know what I mean, lump everything together.
No. This is where I say you lack something in what your thought is trying to express. For me, I come from the space of the Kabbalion when it talks about the pendulum swing of life. It said the master is in the middle. He does not allow the pendulum swing to carry him to either side. He stays in the middle. This is what the Buddhists talked about when they talked about the middle path. You might not have gotten there yet. I hear what you're saying, and I'm saying there's validity in what you're saying. However, the master will not be swayed by one side or the other. He extrapolates power from both, kind of like Mace Windu with the purple lightsaber, tapping into the dark side while still being a Jedi. Do you understand?
Well, that's actually what I'm saying.
Not
you
really.
Draw in the other side. Well,
stay with me. Don't leave. Stay with me. When we come forward, me and Hustle, we in the ring tonight.
He's on fire tonight. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know from BIN News. Donald Trump was seen riding around in a garbage truck to capitalize off of Joe Biden's remark implying that Trump supporters were garbage. Trump spoke at a rally in Wisconsin on Wednesday and rode up in a garbage truck that he said was, quote, in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden, end quote. McDonald's is facing another proposed class action lawsuit after a major E. coli outbreak. The new lawsuit filed Tuesday is now the third the fast food company faces after contaminated onions in its quarter pounders left 90 people sick and 1 dead. U.S. officials are in the Middle East as they attempt to push for ceasefires in Gaza and Lebanon. And an anonymous donor has helped keep a historic Fergus Falls home with Flowing Brook Ministries by covering its outstanding utility assessment. Built 139 years ago by Prince Honeycutt, the city's first black resident, and Minnesota's first black baseball player, the nonprofit is now raising funds for renovations. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Joe Buck and John Smoltz welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart. Uh-oh. She's looking at the cigarettes, but she just grabs the gum off the counter. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer. Go to takeahealthystand.org.
Feeding Our Friends on the Outside will be hosting its 15th annual Feeding the Homeless event in Greater Los Angeles on Sunday, November 10th from noon until at 11129 South Central Avenue in Los Angeles. If you would like to donate or volunteer, please call 310-981-6377 or email them at feedingourfriends05@gmail.com. feedingourfriends05@gmail.com. It's the 15th anniversary of Feeding Our Friends on the Outside, Sunday, November 10th from noon until 11129 South Central Avenue in Los Angeles. For more information, call 310-981-6377. 310-981-6377. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
To help combat climate change, LADWP is helping neighborhoods have better access to electric vehicles by awarding nearly $130 million in EV rebates to customers just like you. From big savings on used EVs to building new charging plazas, LADWP is charging ahead to help all Angelenos experience the benefits of EVs. Get rebates of up to $4,000 for a used EV and $1,750 for a charger. Learn more at ladwp.com/EV. That's ladwp.com/EV. With reported hate crimes rising in recent years, California has responded through outreach efforts across state government and in collaboration with community-based organizations for the launch of CA versus Hate. This non-emergency, multilingual hate crime and incident reporting hotline provides an anonymous reporting option for victims and witnesses of hate acts, reported in 15 different languages through the online portal and in over 200 languages when calling the hotline. Report anonymously by calling 833-866-4283, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. or online at any time at cavshate.org. Hey, LA residents, it's planting season and the perfect time to get shade trees growing around your home. LADWP and City Plants are giving every resident up to 7 free trees. That's right, 7 free trees delivered right to your door. Trees are great for the environment, help improve air quality, and can help you save on your bill when you use less air conditioning to stay cool indoors. Learn more at ladwp.com/free trees. That's ladwp.com/free trees.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
If you say you care about the community, you have to also care about the climate. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified professionals pathologist on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on autopsy, then click on request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Come on. And yes, y'all, you are now in tune to the sounds of the legendary Foundation. Stop what you're doing and set it in motion. It's the next movement. You listen and stop what you're doing and set it in motion. It's the next. We got the ha-ha music, the hot music, the ha-ha music, the hot music, the ha-ha music, the hot music, the ha-ha music, the hot music. Yo, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's how we usually start. Once again, it's the thought, the Dalai Lama of the mic, the Prime Minister thought. This directed to whoever and listen it frames. Yo, the whole state of things in the world about to change. Black rain falling from the sky looks strange. The ghetto was red hot, we stepping on flames. Yo, it's inflation on the price for fame, and it was all the same. But then the antidote came. The black thought, ill syllabus out the fifth. This heavyweight rap, I'm about to lift like a father lift up his seed to sunlight. I plug in the mic, draw like a gunfight. I never use a cordless or stand applaudless.
So a common problem that comes up when we're struggling with mental health is trying to figure out whether a fear is a real, rational fear or it's an irrational fear. And this is one of those situations where I say, actually, the question is the problem. Trying to answer that question and be certain about that isn't going to help you. In fact, it's only going to make things worse. When you're struggling with mental health, you can always, 100% of the time, think of reasons and evidence to support your fears. When I struggled with my mental health, it never even occurred to me that some of my fears might be not real or irrational. I believed everything. Everything that popped in my head, I believed is 100% totally real. I had reasons, I had evidence. And so at work, I had all sorts of anxieties and compulsions related to work, and I would do all sorts of things to try to prevent terrible things from happening. And so I believed completely all of those terrible worries that would pop into my head and all of those fears. And so I was constantly judging what I was doing, judging what others were doing, and believing that what that meant was, because I would judge myself as having done something horrible, and that would mean I was going to get fired, I was going to go broke, I was going to end up out on the street, I was going to contract some kind of disease, and then I was going to die out on the street, alone, penniless. And this was just a constant, totally real thing that I believed, and I would react to that. I would engage in all sorts of compulsions at work as a reaction to that fear. And of course, my reactions to that fear, all of those compulsions, actually would lead to me not doing my work well. So a very typical thing that happens, we react to fears in our head, and we do things that actually contribute to making those fears seem more real, which only feeds that cycle. When it came to recovery, it wasn't about lining up evidence to prove my worries wrong. I remember there were times when therapists tried a very typical CBT approach, so cognitive behavioral therapy. A typical approach often involves like lining up the evidence against your worries and lining up the evidence to show why the worry might be true, and then looking at how the evidence against the worry there's more of it. But of course, I could always think of more evidence to back up my belief that I was going to, get fired, end up out in the street, homeless, penniless, without anybody, and die from some terrible, painful disease. Always. So recovery for me wasn't about labeling those worries as irrational or unreasonable, not real, part of OCD, whatever. That didn't work for me. What did work for me was recognizing that all of my fears are real fears. They're all fears. I'm actually afraid of them. They are real. They are real things in my head. This is the same concept that I talked about in the video on memories and labeling bananas. Right? The memories, it's not about whether it's a real memory or a false memory.
Whew. Firework tonight. Firework. We got my brother Hustle from Miami, Florida on the line. Okay, Hustle. What am I missing in your presentation, sir?
Okay, I think I could present it in a way that's a little bit better. Think of a yin and yang, because we're talking about male and female, right? Polarities. Now, if you spin it real fast, yes, it all looks great. However, most eyes can't keep up with that speed, that frequency. So in order to, what I like to do is meet people where they are. Now, I understand that I posed the question to you, and you have your own purpose, your own plan, as do I, though. And that's why the answer you gave was perfect for me. And that's why I wanted to guide you towards that, because I knew you had that in you, and I wanted to draw that out. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that helps.
Well, maybe we got different missions. Like, what I'm not going to do is meet you where you are. And maybe that's your mission, is to meet them where they are. What I'm going to do is this is spiritual shock therapy, right? And one thing about spiritual shock therapy, you can't unring a shock. Once it happens, it happens. Now, maybe your job is to take what I say or what others say or what you say and then, turn it into spiritual baby food. Gerber. I'm not here for that. If you want to reach a certain level, you're really going to have to find the confidence, the courage, and really the conviction within yourself to say, I am no longer going to vibrate on these levels. Now, if you want to say, hey, let me walk with you, I will help you put one foot in front of the other. Hey, that mission is necessary too, just as necessary. You understand what I'm saying? My mission isn't more important. It's equally important as yours. So we have different approaches. We had a brother call in the other day. He said, Zoe, are you leaving? Because he said, Zoe, have the elders consigned you to speak the way you've been speaking over the last few months? You teaching and you going from quantum mechanics and psychology and spirituality, you bringing it all together. And he said, it's almost like you downloaded everything because you're about to leave. I said, I'm not leaving, but this is a serious job. I'm not an entertainer, although the shows are entertaining. I'm literally trying to electrotherapy shock you out of your mediocrity, of your spiritual doldrum. We've had enough, pablum, spiritual pablum. We've had enough of that. It's time to say, no, the milk is for the babes. The meat is for the adults. And this is why I don't do the how do we fix the women or how do we fix the men. We have enough of that low vibrational consciousness out there. And many people are talking about it with no deep grasp. And listen, let me just make this one caveat. A deep grasp of the spiritual purpose of relationship is still in the realm of not knowing anything. I want to make that clear, right? So when you get a grasp, you see what I'm saying? When you get a grasp of spirituality, you start to understand, oh, everything I thought I knew, I know nothing. So when you get people coming out here and it becomes very divisive, right? Divisive, whoever wants to say. It becomes very, contentious amongst the sides. You got women saying men don't listen or regard or see or respect or honor women. They've been conditioned that way. Now you got men saying, well, women are the same way, right? They're just subtle at it, right? So it's like, how do we find this middle ground? What I do know both men and women share is this damn fear. They share attachment styles. They share dysfunction. Now, the manifestation of this dysfunction could be different across genders, possibly, potentially. However, what I know is if you don't get in there and you don't get some self wins, You're going to be a mess in relationships, period. You're going to show up pretending. You're going to show up acting. How do I know? Because I used to pretend. How do I know? Because I failed. Do you understand? See, we got a lot of people in here talking this stuff. Listen, Kevin Samuels is an icon. He's literally an icon. But if we go back with a clinical and a spiritual mind, I say clinical and spiritual, a psychological mind as well as with a spiritual mind, was he good for our relationships or bad? You tell me.
If you're asking me.
I'm asking you.
Well, I would like to remind you of who I am as well and understand that the level that I vibrate on and the questions that I propose to you are coming from a different place than it may be perceived as.
No, I'm not perceiving as
so
anything.
It's not
I'm
to
just
drag you down.
Yeah, I'm not
You
perceiving.
understand?
Listen, I have no judgment for your questions. I really mean that. Like, I'm not saying, oh, this brother is representing a certain type of group, or I'm not putting you in that. Not at all. So don't think that, okay?
Because, well, you bring up Kevin Samuels, right?
The reason
And
why I
think
bring
that
up
those
Kevin
things are very-
Samuels is because of where our relationships are as people today. Not because you subscribe or ascribe to some of it. I don't know what you believe. So you understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying you're a follower of his. I'm just saying if we, in 10 years, we can look back and go, wow, yo, was it good for us? Because he's a hero. Was it good? Did it heal relationships?
A hero to some. That's what I mean. I think that I don't want to get the oversight put into place. There's different ways to medicate because you're talking about your way of healing, and you don't want to feed the baby food and whatnot. And then but you brought up a great point right now, which is what I was going to say. What are the results?
Right.
Now, you're obviously, like I said, you kind of do know me. You know what I'm saying? And you know the kind of kind of stuff that I'm into. And I like to dive, but I also like to expose myself to everything that's out there.
Right.
So I can see, you know what I mean? So I have more arsenals, more tools in my box. You get what I mean?
That's how that's how you learn. Right. Yeah.
That's it. That's it. So when I posed it, it's to get your mind in a certain place to see like how you're processing these kind of things, which I said you answered to me perfectly. And when I say that, I don't mean perfectly for the listeners. I mean perfectly for what you know what I mean? The feedback I was looking for because of the way that we get down.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right. No, I totally get it.
That's why even bringing up certain names, it's like, that's not really where because I think that's low vibrational as well.
No,
but I don't want to say low is in a bad thing.
Yeah, right. But Hustle.
You got where I'm going.
But Hustle, it ain't just him. It's many others on both sides of the fence. It's not just Kevin Samuels. There's some women, there's a female Kevin Samuels out there speaking it in the total reverse. The point that I'm making is, bruh, there is a war between black men and black women, and it is manifesting in our relationships. Do you understand? That's the whole purpose of bringing the brother's name up. And people who hear me talk about him, I'll say, oh, he was good for the level of consciousness he's on. I said, yo, he represents the 48 laws of power manifested in relationships. He represents capitalism. He represents all of those things. But when people ask me,
I know a lot of people don't, a lot of people ain't gonna catch what you just said.
Right. But when
people
ask me about him, listen, man, we in two different universes. Stay with me, Hustle. This is good. Don't go nowhere. Miami is in the building.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
This is Assemblymember Tina McKenna reminding you to vote for my girl, Sade Alawari, for State Assembly. Sade is a part of our community, and she's the partner I need in Sacramento to help fight for economic justice, affordable housing, healthcare, and so much more. Sade is just like us. She comes out of our community, and she spent years working in our community, bringing people together. That's why she's endorsed by Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, Supervisor Holly Mitchell, teachers, firefighters, and Planned Parenthood advocates. This is Tina McKenna, and I need you to make a plan to vote and to vote by Tuesday, November the 5th for Sade Alawari for State Assembly.
Ad paid for by Opportunity PAC, a coalition of teachers, nurses, faculty members, school employees, and public and private labor, healthcare, and environmental organizations. Ad committee's top funders, California Teachers Association, not authorized by a candidate or committee controlled by a candidate.
That morning chill means truck season!
5 more minutes.
No snoozing. Do it all in a Chevy Colorado or Silverado, including the class-leading range of the Silverado EV.
Talking to me?
Work, play, hauling, off-roading, a Chevy truck can take it all.
Okay, I'm up.
It's Chevy Truck Season. Get 0% financing on all 2024 Silverado 1500 pickups when you finance with GM Financial. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
0% APR for 36 months. Monthly payment is $27.78 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 9.3%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 10/31/24.
I've treated many homeless patients in the county of Los Angeles. My name is Esme Agonifer. I'm an internal medicine physician. I entered the field of medicine to serve the communities that raised me, and that includes experiencing housing instability. Many people end up on the streets because they have developed serious mental illness. Providing them with resources like Measure A will help move thousands of people out of encampments and into mental health treatment, so they're not a danger to themselves or others. If we don't pass Measure A, homelessness in LA County will increase by 25%. That's thousands more people on the streets, women, children, veterans. That's why Measure A is supported by nurses and doctors like me.
Ad paid for by Yes on A, Neighbors for Affordable Housing and Housing Solutions Now. Ad committee's top funders, California Community Foundation and Western State Regional Council of Carpenters.
Medicare open enrollment is here, and it's a time you can make changes to your health coverage. Yet, watch out for enrollment and marketing scams. Remember, Medicare will neither call you nor solicit your business. Guard your card. Never give out your Medicare number to strangers. Unsolicited calls, door-to-door visits, and emails are prohibited. Take your time. Don't feel pressured to make a quick decision. Report scams to our California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080.
Before running for state senate, Laura Richardson was named one of the most corrupt members of Congress, guilty on 7 counts of ripping off taxpayers and a pattern of deception trying to cover it up. Richardson is too shady for state senate. For your state senator, frontline nurses, classroom teachers, and Planned Parenthood Advocacy Project support Democrat Michelle Chambers, a champion for abortion rights, higher wages for workers, and more affordable health care. Democrat Michelle Chambers for state senate.
Ad paid for by nurses and educators supporting Chambers for Senate 2024, sponsored by labor and nonprofit environmental and health organizations. Ad committee's top funders, SEIU California State Council, not authorized by a candidate or committee controlled by a candidate.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
The deadly venom. Let me start from the beginning. We always hitting, so yo, there'll be no extra innings. As I send the mic out the park like Reggie Jackson. You be the minor leaguer who sees no action. The coming attraction, what? The main feature. And I'ma greet you like a rhyming ass creature.
Hi, I'm Anna Runkle, also known as the Crappy Childhood Fairy. And for the next several weeks, I'm sharing a weekly series on resilience for people with childhood PTSD. And week by week, I'm going to be talking about the major obstacles that hold us back in life and the strengths that we can cultivate that allow us to move forward. If you follow me online, you know that I'm always teaching people childhood PTSD is at its root a brain injury. And I teach people how to start healing that. But what can happen is we have periods where we kind of go into resistance to that healing because we have inner obstacles. So that's what I'm going to talk about, 8 inner obstacles. And today I want to start with the first one, the mother of them all, that can keep us looping in the side effects of trauma, and it's fear. Now, this is not some lecture where I tell you, just don't have fear. That's not how it works. This is about where fear comes from, what it really does to us, and it's worse than you think, and what to actually do to get free of your fear. Because no one tells you that. Have you noticed? Lots and lots of celebrities and athletes and self-help gurus tell you not to have fear. And it sounds so appealing. But when you have childhood PTSD, you're like, I can't just let go of my fear. And then you start to think, there must be something really deeply wrong with me. And there's nothing wrong with you. You have PTSD, which is a normal reaction to trauma in childhood. What works for other people, maybe you noticed it's like water running through your fingers. Nothing happens. It can't even touch the problem inside because the problem is something different. And so if you're like me, you have tried and tried to just act normal, to handle yourself with less anxiety and panic. And
God, Sister Girl from My Crappy Childhood YouTube channel is on fire. You guys got to check her out. Check out her YouTube channel, My Crappy Childhood. It's something worth... What is it? The Crappy Childhood Fairy. Anna Runkle. That's her name. Anna Runkle. Crappy Childhood Fairy. Go to the YouTube channel. She's amazing. A lot of great work. We are up against it right now. I'm going to pull Hustle back in. We got 2 minutes left in this show. Hustle, give me your final thought, my good friend.
Real quick, just to wrap it all up, tie it all together. I hope people can see by what I did the vulnerability and the courage it takes to challenge somebody to find truth. That's what I wanted to put on display. A lot of people, they're so afraid of the outcome and the reaction and the feedback that they're not even willing to challenge. Do you understand what I'm saying? Themselves or the person they're with. So I just wanted to do that.
Come on, man. You know you free to do it anytime you want to, brother. Man, you got to know, man. This is one of my favorite people, man. He call in and he keep it real. I love my brother Hustle. Hustle.
What we in? A decade in now?
At least 10 years. At least.
Come on, man.
Come on, Hustle. It is 10 years. 2014, 2024. It is 10 years, man. So this was great sparring. And you did give an example of how it's not going to hurt you to have a conversation with a little push and pull. So I really appreciate that, bro. And guess what you just did?
Dade County.
Dade County, which is now Wade County. Get rid of that statue. Hey, listen, I started the conversation. It's up to you to finish it. I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. I'll be back next week. You already know, next week, Monday, with a whole new set of slappers. We appreciate you all. I'm out. Deuces.
The only words I know that you until I say the only words I know that you until I
know you see it, girl. This ain't sitting real good in my soul. Everywhere this little girl goes, she pick up another obstacle. She was my heart.